Hello? There we go. Sweet cheese crackers. Let me try that again. I'm so glad I caught it. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. It's me, Shweebe. Welcome to me. I'm going to share some ghost stories with you. Whether or not you believe in the supernatural, I don't care. I am sharing with you what I assumed was ghostesses that happened in my life. And Red, hello, welcome, how are you? I am sorry to hear what happened to your previous account, but I'm glad that you're able to come back on a different one. And Phoenix, hello, handsome, how are you? You're gonna tell ghost stories? I'm gonna tell the ghost stories that I know happened for me and that I assume that's what happened. And if y'all are enjoying the stream, make sure you hit that like button and please share the stream out with your friends. Okay, so let's see. I'm trying to think of like the first one that I can recall. It would have been when I was younger. So much moons ago. Most of y'all know that I lived with my grandparents years ago. So I lived with them for about 2.5 years, and this was during the time when my grandfather was fighting with ALS. Lou Gehrig's disease. So he was bedridden, and the house that they lived in was very, very old. It had been there for generations. All kinds of, like, it's so old that if you go down the block, like 15 houses down into the left, there's a tucked away and hidden old graveyard that's been undisturbed, and like the stones are so old that they're like corroded and you can't really read whose the names are anymore. So, but in this house, it was actually the starter house that used to, like, all those houses used to be part of the property that belonged to this single house. Baby, check the title. The title says I'm telling ghost stories. Yeah, I'm telling ghost stories. I am. You're cute. Anyway, so now 3 people are witnesses to this. Myself, my mother, and my grandfather. Now, a lot of you know that I have 3 younger sisters, so I happened to walk past what we used to call the music room. My grandfather was in the room that's adjacent to it going this way, and my mom was checking in on him. I had walked through the music room, and I caught on my left peripheral who I thought was my youngest sister in one of her Sunday dresses, prancing around. The problem with that was that she had blonde hair and really tight curls. My baby sister does not have blonde hair, nor does she have tight curls. She has red hair, and at the time it was kind of like wavy hair, wavy long hair. It says stores. Oh my god. It does say stores. I'm telling ghost stores, and I can't edit it right now. It does say. I'll fix that after the... Okay, I'm gonna tell you some ghost stores while we're at it, too. Alright, they was telling you some of the creepiest stuff. Now, I was, I think 11 when I had seen it, and I'd stopped, and I looked in there, and I went in there, and I'm going, okay? I didn't see anybody, and I'm going, okay, I'm gonna move on with that, got it. But later to ask my mom if she had seen something, and then she describes the girl without me saying anything, and I go, yeah, I thought it was Kay, and she goes, no. And Papaw saw it too, and I'm like, oh my god. So I would think that would be one of, like, the first few ghost experiences that I had. And we reckoned that maybe it had to have been either, like, trapped energy or something, or maybe it was someone that once upon a time lived there, floating memories, we don't know. A couple other ones that actually happened on that same property, one of which I had seen, and the other one I had not seen. One of my sisters had claimed that they had seen a couple standing out in my grandmother's garden, and the garden is like a good 50 feet away from the house, and I'm going, we don't get very many visitors that aren't like the family that's attached that way, which, you know, was our uncle and aunt. But they'd have no reason to be in the garden. And when she described the clothes, I'm like, no, that sounds really odd. And then the other one that I had seen was actually a little boy who we thought was just prancing around in the horse pasture, and we're like, because we did have some neighborhood kids, but very unlikely for them to come in because my uncle had a hunting dog who wasn't very friendly to strangers unless he was introduced to them to go, okay, they're safe to be here kind of thing. So yeah, and I had seen this little boy just disappear somewhere. come to find out, now I don't know if this is actually true, this part, but where we actually parked our vehicles, apparently there used to be a well there. Many eons ago, apparently a little boy was like leaning on the edge to look in it, had slipped and fallen in and cracked his head open and died. I have no idea if that's true, but all I do remember was seeing was the little boy running across the pasture, and then all of a sudden he disappeared. I don't know what to tell you. It was freaking weird. Me in a wig could have been anything. This is true. Now to tell you about them ghost stores. I think the closest ghost store that I could think of would be Spirit Halloween, which I've never been and I want to go. Phoenix, I want to go to Spirit Halloween. I've never been. I want to go. We're going. I don't care when. It doesn't even have to be Halloween for us to go. I want to go and see what they have. But if y'all have ghost stories that you would like to share or ghost stores, please share that too. Because I could have sworn I actually typed stories. Apparently not. One now in this house that we live in is also one of those really old houses. We think at one point it used to be a hunting lodge, because when we first moved here it had exactly one large bedroom, and we've been expanding upon the house since then. But it was very odd. Just the overall shape. Like, up here used to be a dilapidated attic that we have refurbished into somewhat of a bedroom. We're still intending to expand it that way a bit more. I digress. So, when it was still technically an attic, my bed used to be on that far side over there, and this section here wasn't even finished. I think I was still in high school when this happened, or college, early college, I think. I'm not a great sleeper. I never have been, really, unless I'm just absolutely exhausted. Now, there's this one night, and I happened to be exhausted, and I passed out. I don't know if anybody else does this, but when you feel a presence near you when you're sleeping, and it doesn't feel like the comfort of family or friend, do you ever just pop up and wake up, like, immediately? Because it's like, I'm pretty sure it's like some form of like instinctual something. I'm sure there's science that could back it up or whatever, but I immediately woke up, and it had to have been like 3 in the morning to look directly across from me, about 2 feet away, what looked like this very large, kind of, I can't really describe the frame because it was tall, not necessarily lean, but not very muscular either, but it looked like a shadow had taken like a 3D form and was just bent over and was just kind of looking at me. Not in like a threatening manner, but it didn't change the fact that it scared the hell out of me. So within the span of 3 seconds of me popping my eyes open, looking at the thing there, I didn't scream necessarily. I more like yelped and threw myself to the back of the wall and took all of my blankets and covered myself, because everybody knows blankets can save you from things at night and spirits and ghosties and whatever. Because that's just a fact. We all grew up with that since being a small child, right? I must have stayed under the blanket what felt like an hour, but probably at most, maybe a couple of minutes for me to slowly pull the blanket down and look. And I was terrified to do so, mind you. And I look, and there's nothing and or no one there. I immediately turn on all the lights, trying to find anything. I go downstairs with a flashlight, just trying to see if maybe someone had broken into the house. Not exactly the smartest move, because if that's the case, I should have actually made some noise. But it was like, if it was a person, it would have had a lot more finer details on it, you know, clothes or something. But this, I swear to you, it looked like a shadow had formed like 3D. I don't know. It was very odd. And then, like, that was the only time I had ever seen that. It was just the one time. It was odd. But, like, a week after that, there was this very strange, what I'm going to describe as a presence in my room. And I don't know if that was just my irrational fear getting to me, or something else, because it kind of felt like the air itself was really heavy, and I was terrified to go to sleep. Now, on a norm, my dreams and nightmares are very strange, and there's a very fine line between what I'm going to determine as a dream or a nightmare, unless it goes like really hardcore to the left field kind of thing. So I thought maybe it was just akin to that, but that whole week was like the worst week ever trying to sleep. And I don't think that the entity that I had seen had anything to do with it necessarily. For those that believe in the ghosts and spirits and things like that, some of them can and or have rather tried to say that it was something trying to form an attachment, and I ain't about that life, okay? All right, I don't need attachments and stuff. You can do your own thing. Don't do that to me. Okay, thanks, bye. Like, my mom's big into saging and whatever, so I cleaned the room, I open up all the windows, I have her come in and sage, which is a big thing if I'm asking for that, because I hate the smell of sage. Just something about it just offends my nostrils. I don't like it. And I do have some other ghost stories, though these might be a little sad, but, like, just hear me out. So, we've had a variety of pets in this house. When we first moved here, we had 3 cats, and then we had 3 dogs, and then we eventually wound up with a 4th dog from a family member that wasn't taking care of her, that we just adopted, and told them to get out and go away. So, as time moved on, all of these animals have passed away, because it's been 15 years since we've been here, and they were older by that point in time. Phyllis! Hello, welcome, how are you? Boo! But, so, all of these dogs... Oh, you changed up your profile pic. Nice! Looks fancy, Red. Welcome back, by the way. So, all of our animals had very specific things that they would do. Now, at first, I kind of chalked it up to us just missing them and we were just hearing things. But when I'm not the only one hearing it, and we can describe exactly what it is, and the noise doesn't stop until we do the thing that we did for the pet, it kind of makes you go, okay, could be something. Prime example, so when we had all 4 of our dogs, there was Aramis, Porthos, D'Artagnan, and then Sadie. Sadie and Aramis, in order to go outside, instead of barking, they would scratch at the door. It's a very specific sound. And it wasn't just like a gentle scratch, especially if it's Sadie, because she was a bigger dog. When she would scratch, it kind of made the door shake a little. That's, like, hints that there's weight to the scratch, right? So, we had been hearing it for a while, like, close to, like, maybe 30 minutes, Mom and I both. And we're like, what is that sound? Now, at the time, we had maybe 2 cats in the house. We haven't had any more dogs since then. So Mom, in a fit of brilliance, opens the door and she goes, go outside, have fun. Closes the door, and I'm looking at her like she's crazy. I'm like, who are you talking to? You did not just let the cats out. She goes, no, I let the dogs out. I'm going, dogs? The dogs have been passed away now, all 4 of them at this point, since 2 years ago. And she goes, I know, but that scratching sound would only ever happen when they wanted to go outside. Sure enough, after her doing that, the sound stopped. But then she also made it a point to say, y'all can come in and come out. You don't need me to open the door anymore, all right? Y'all are past this plane of existence. It was so strange, but it worked. The other kind of ghostly apparition things that we've seen here, specifically that Mom has seen, was her cat, Sassy. Sassy was a beautiful all-black cat, had a little bit of, like, white right here on her chest and her belly. And that was Mom's cat. Sassy was so adorable. She herself was like a mama cat, all right? She put everybody else, including the dogs, in their place and would just pop them one good time if they, if they were acting up. It was the funniest thing in the world. That was Sassy. She passed away due to old age and then due to some other complications. Mom was distraught because that was her baby. And since then, mind you, that was, Jesus, I think that was like maybe 8 years ago, give or take. We still to this day will catch glimpses of Sassy or one of the other cats whizzing by our feet. Now, it's not the 3 cats that are already here, because there's Callie, who's an all-white cat. There's Benny, who's a ginger cat. There is Binks, who is also an all-black cat with a little bit of white on the very tip of his tail. But Binks and Sassy have very different physiques about them that we were easily able to go, that's not Binks, because he's in the window. Or, you know, whatever. And then occasionally I would see Apollo. I would catch, Apollo was my, my silver tabby. I loved him so much. He was such a brat. I would occasionally catch him out of the corner of my eye, just like lounging around somewhere, or I would just catch him sitting somewhere, and I'm just like, oh, that's cool. That's really neat. Or Precious, my beautiful little Maine Coon. I'm certain she was either part Maine Coon, or maybe she was the runt of the litter, but oh, she had the beautiful little tufts of fur on here, and then the little fluffy things on the bottom of her feet. She was so cute. Occasionally I'll catch her around too. Oh, even Phoenix says he's seen Sassy, Apollo, and Precious. Oh, I love it so much. Now, this part is... I don't really know how to explain this. This isn't necessarily ghosts, I don't think. But dreams are very interesting with myself. I'm really big into, like, doing dream books and, like, taking apart dreams bit by bit and whatever. Occasionally, I will have dreams where I will see any of my past pets, including Callie every now and then, so it's not limited to strictly, oh, they're dead and gone and that's why they show up. But it's interesting that I'll, or they'll come and visit, as we like to say. Doing the darting between my... Yes! Yes! All three of them have darted between my legs, and I thought I had stepped on Binks in particular, but then when I'm going, Binks isn't a silver tabby, or Binks isn't a long-haired calico. What? Though I will check if I do catch glimpses of Sassy. I'll go and check on Binks just to make sure, like, it was indeed her and not him. It's so strange. It's so very strange. I'm trying to think of some other ghostly things that may have happened. I will admit I've led a very interesting life, to say the least, and I've traveled all over the place. I suppose this part's less ghost-like, and it was just creepy, but definitely could have been the breeding ground for some ghosty things, I imagine. So at one point in time, I lived in Tennessee for about a year with my grandmother and grandfather on my dad's side. And I'm talking, when I say they lived out in Tennessee in the hills, we quite literally lived on a hill in the middle of no freaking where. She had a wolf named Toby. He was adorable. And because we're so, like, up in the hill in the middle of nowhere, there was the issue with snakes and scorpions and other things that are very dangerous, especially to a wandering little 6-year-old. Moi. Anyways, she had this basement. And in this basement, picture a hoarder's paradise style of basement, but something about that basement always bothered me. And I don't know if that was just because I was 5, 6 years old, whatever, but something about it gave me a serious case of the heebie-jeebies, and I never wanted to be in there. And just, I don't know if it was like the fear of spiders or something else, but it definitely felt like I don't want to be here ever by myself because something will straight up eat me. And I think that's actually where my fear of mannequins started, because she fucking had one, okay? And that thing was just there and just being a mannequin, and that's terrifying. No thank you. Phoenix says, I once walked by the bathroom and saw Apollo sitting on the counter as I walked by. When I whipped around to look, there was no cat in the bathroom. Oh, my baby. Apollo was so funny. I loved that cat to pieces, I swear. So this silver tabby, oh my god, Becky, he had the biggest attitude. Excuse me, catitude, alright? If you started drumming your fingers on stuff, he immediately was like, stop it! There was this one time I was just picking on him because, you know, I'm a jerk and I love him. I'm just doing this and he's getting mad. He got so mad that he goes, whoopah, attempting to hit me but misses, gets the liquid soap and whips it into the bathtub. Oh, it was so funny. I loved it a lot. Now, oh, actually now I do recall. Okay, so when I lived in Virginia Beach, that house was modern, for the most part. Not like ancient or anything. It had been there since, like, I think they first built it in the 80s or whatever. So obviously not that old. But apparently, years before my family had moved into there. And we learned this as we were getting ready to move out of the house. So this is where I'm kind of like, some of these ghost stories that I'm sharing could either actually be ghosty stories, or it could just be cases of induced fear and paranoia. The reason I am saying this is because we had lived in that house, well, I had lived in that house sporadically for the course of like 10 years. And we're on our way to selling the house, and like we're like a month before doing that. We're still working on stuff, and one of the previous owners had come in to take a look. You know, they were just wanting to visit and see what it looked like, and they decided to share a story that they could have just shared without one of the kids being present, mainly me, because this woman proceeds to tell and share with my mother and dad, going that apparently someone had been murdered there years prior to us buying the house. And I'm kind of going, at the time, I'm going, is that why we got it is that why we got it so cheap? Because someone died here? Oh my god. And I could not sleep that night. I was terrified of something, a presence or whatever, and I'm chalking it up now to that was just paranoia and fear over, because I had slept just fine the entirety that I had lived there, okay? Just, again, paranoia and fear will make you see some stuff and whatever if you aren't careful. So, yeah. Actually, now that I think about it, there was one other kind of thing. Again, not really sure if this counts towards ghosty stuff, but I had taken a nap, and I was in middle school at this time. I had taken a nap and had this very insane dream nightmare thing where I was back at my grandparents' house, and there was this blue man ghost thing that decided to, he chased me or something, and then proceeded to choke me. I woke, and apparently I'd gotten scratched on my hand or something. I had woke up, found out that I was actually preventing myself from being able to breathe, started hyperventilating, and then found out that on my hand, either it was my brain making this like a real thing or something, but there was like this weird like white, not necessarily a scratch, but like the skin there looked weird for a little bit. And I remember going to my mom going, oh my god, what, this happened? She's like, calm down, it's just a dream, nothing, you're fine. Zelda Queen Bee, hello, welcome, how are you? Ghost stories, yes, and if y'all have any, please share them. I would love to read them and discuss them, because why not? Yeah. And then, so these aren't mine, the next ones I'll be sharing. These are merely what I've heard from my sisters. I'm strictly keeping it with people that I know, because past that, I might as well just read a ghost stories book, you know? Which I might do that anyways. I do have one of those, I can't think, it's like Beyond, what's it called? Beyond the Dark or something? I have no idea. Did you hear knocks from walls or see doors opening and closing? Or see shadowy figure in the corner of a room? Oh, you missed it, Zelda. I actually just shared a story where I'd actually seen a shadowy figure in my room when I had woken up, and it scared the hell out of me. And then I proceeded to hide under the covers because, you know, covers will protect you from everything, including a shadowy ghost figure. And I'm talking this thing was huge. I swear to God, if it had stood up, it would have probably been 7 feet tall. And just this massive form just kneeled down, just kind of like looking, and it's like, back up. So, in the original room downstairs, where we turned that into a very big room for my younger sisters, they swear, especially my middle sister, she swears that there was this Native American thing. She's not really sure if it was a human or if it was something else, but she recalled it standing in the doorway and scaring the hell out of her. All three of my sisters had proclaimed that something was downstairs in that back room, which was an add-on to the house, and then in the bathroom, and I never saw it, but I'm not really like gonna say, well, that's not the case just because I didn't see it. But it's like, okay. And then especially after seeing the weird shadowy figure thing that I'd seen up here, I'm going, alright, house, y'all need to stop. Actually, oh, now that I think about it, so once we got this attic space all finished, I have y'all can't see it on the camera, I don't think. I think I have the settings too dark. Yeah, y'all aren't gonna be able to see that. So, either way, I have this very tall dragon statue. It stands about this tall, give or take. We were cleaning it up. I had put some base paint on it and whatever, and I had it up here. And we were dusting it off once more. I had Mom come up here and sage, because I like to do that every once in a while. It's just some kind of practice we got into. And let me tell you, this has never happened, and it could just be coincidence. I have no idea. I don't know. There's a lot of things in life I don't know. So I just kind of chalk it up to nothing is impossible. Might be improbable, but not impossible. She's got her little dish with the sage stuff in it and whatever. And this little closet door kind of creaked open a little, and something happened. I don't really know. I thought she got it caught on the dragon statue, because he's got a lot of bits and pieces to him, but it just fell out of her hand. My mom's not like a weak person or anything. She's got a great grip and all that, and it just fell. Thankfully, it didn't catch anything on fire. I didn't have a carpet down at the time. But you talk about strange. And she goes over to the closet door, opens it up, opens the window, and tells something to get out if they're gonna act like all that. I don't know if there was a shift in the room. All I know is that the room felt better, if that makes sense. And again, if you believe in that kind of thing, you don't have to. I don't care if you do or don't. But I'm just merely sharing with you the experiences that I've had. I got a unexplainable story I experienced. Oh, please tell. Please do share. I do love those. 'Cause, I don't know. Me personally, I think viewing the world as like very black and white, or this can't exist because you don't have proof, is very boring. Wouldn't it be more fun knowing that you have to fight to get the proof to show that it does indeed exist? Or maybe there are things out there that won't be seen because they refuse to be seen. I wouldn't put it past something out there to be able to deny the laws of our technology, you know? I just love that kind of stuff. I'm trying to think if I have any other ghost stories. I thought I was gonna be blabbing here for a while, but I think I might have used up most of them. Okay, so actually, now that I think about it, there's this other one that I can share. I don't think it's a ghost story per se. I think this one is more, again, that paranoia and fear, plus we were kids. This goes back to that 2-year time when I was living at my grandparents' house. So it was myself, my cousin, and I think it was like three of our friends or whatever. We decided someone had a camera. And this was one of those old Panasonic, like, ching, you have to take the thing out and do one of these and whatever, and then it makes something. We didn't have a recorder at the time. We decided to go traipsing around through that graveyard that had been, unattended to, had mostly been eroded away for a while. Because past that, if you just kept walking past that and eventually took a right, there was this creek that you could go and play in and whatever. And it was nice. But we decided as dumb, disrespectful kids, we're just gonna go and hang out in the graveyard, because what else are we gonna do? We can't go into town, it's too far. We weren't touching the tombstones or anything, or, we were just being nosy, taking pictures and whatever. And, again, I think this part is more fear and paranoia, because there was a very loud sound. I don't know if it was a squirrel. I don't know if it was the Grim Reaper going, y'all will be next on my chopping block if y'all don't get the hell out. I have no idea, but you talk about all 5 kids immediately went, what? And took off like, no, not happening. So again, I think more fear, paranoia, but it was interesting. And with the so-called pictures that we took, everything was blurry. You couldn't figure anything out. Oh my god, actually I just remembered some other stories. Okay, there's bits and pieces of my life that it takes me a while to remember because it's I don't know. I'm just not in them anymore. So, we had this friend, a long time ago, Phoenix and I both. We'd gone to her house, and their house is also one of those that's been around this area for a very long time. Theirs, they know for a fact, was a hunting lodge, because it used to just be a one-story thing. The whole upper story was an add-on, plus there was like a side room that they added over here. So it used to be this very small house place where you could stay and hunt, because it was right on the lake. And our friend, she loved to take pictures. It was her favorite thing in the world to take pictures, and she had all kinds of little camera things. She had the ones where you popped it out and you did this number. She had, you know, her cell phone. She had this other very nice camera thing that she got for her Christmas or whatever. She has albums of photos, and she goes and gets them printed out and everything. I don't remember what these are called, but she has several pictures of us, because she likes keeping, like, memories and things like that, where there's these little, I just call them ghost balls, because I don't know what they are, but they're, like, these little ball things in a lot of our pictures. I thought initially that her camera was broken, but we went and took it out and, you know, tried it in other locations, and they weren't there. But upstairs in her room, or in the room adjacent to it, there was generally 1 to 5 of those little bubbly things or whatever. It was weird. It was very weird. But what proved it to be even weirder is when we decided to have a lot of our high school friends come over. This was during college, but later on anyways. And we all decided that, you know, we're just gonna hang out and, you know, like, drink some Seagrams and just talk stupid stuff, because that's what young adults do, right? Gossip and spill tea and shiz. So we're all in the room. All of us are in her room. That's like 10 of us or something. It's a ridiculous amount of people in one room. Her dad was not home. He was working at his job. Her mom, she had a lot of health problems, but could not move about quickly. So there's no way what happened is something that she pulled off. We're all chit-chatting and stuff, and all of a sudden we hear something go thunk. We didn't think anything of it. We all stopped. We were just trying to check to figure out what's going on. Nothing. And then, I think 3 out of the 10 of us catches it, or sees it rather. A potato go flying across this way. And we're like, a potato? What? And we go up there and we look. Granted, the potatoes are downstairs in a little cupboard thing. I say again, her mom had health issues. There was no way she was gonna go over here, grab a potato, launch it up, and then quickly as she could ever possibly be, go back to her spot on the couch and sit down and continue watching her show. Quite a few of the kids in there thought that we were pulling this big prank and whatever, and I'm going, no, her house is just, it's old, it's weird. And I remember the mom saying that one of the ghosts or presences, their name was Henry, but I forget like his backstory and whatever, but he's just kind of like always been there. So I don't know if that was, he was one of the original owners or something. Very strange, very interesting. Zelda Queen says, it was early in the morning when I sat up on my bed. I got pushed back down. I couldn't move and my pupils were rolling up, and I was trying to move hard. Then my body sat up on its own, then pushed back. Oh, that's scary. That sounds like a little more than ghostesses. That sounds like straight up something from the Conjuring stuff. I have no idea. That is really scary. I pray I never experienced that, because the whole freaking shadow figure thing was enough for me to go, all right, I'm done. I don't want anything to do with this. But on that same note, I do enjoy ghost stories. I do enjoy a good ghost movie, like the Conjuring series, or Annabelle, or what's the other? Insidious. Oh my God, those are so good. But I also keep in mind that some of this, not all of it, because, you know, theatrics and whatever, is loosely based on some real stuff that happened. So it's like, how much of the universe don't we know? I love that kind of crap. Because just, again, to think that the world is so black and white and that it's like, it's this and it's not this, is boring AF. It's so boring. I would like to believe, again, that anything is possible. To think something can be impossible just shows how one can be so ignorant. You know what I mean? So, like, I like to keep my brain as open as possible to any possibility. And it's not like with that, I don't also, you know, that I'm not also skeptical about it, too. But that's not to say that I won't, like, which I think is a good thing. In healthy doses, being skeptical, I think, has its purposes. Because if you aren't skeptical, then you could be very gullible, and then therefore you just kind of believe anything that's fed to you. Which I think is more dangerous than being ignorant. Personal opinion on that. But yeah. Trying to think. Was there any other possible ghost stories that I could share with y'all, even if it was just weird? Outside of, like, again, like the weird dreams and nightmares that I have every now and then, where those are definitely, like, if I could figure out how to, like, copy and paste that shit onto, like, DVD or something, y'all would know there's something wrong with me. I know it was something because my cat was hissing and giving me a glare. Oh, damn. That is some scary stuff. I wouldn't know what to suggest in a situation like that, because we just sage, and I guess that works. I don't know. I also have a, well, I unplugged it for the season, but it's a salt rock thing or whatever. The candle. No, it's not a candle, it's a light. But it puts positive stuff in the air or whatever. Which is actually, it's positive... What? I don't remember. Good stuff for you, actually physically wise, but also apparently used for other things of that nature. Ghostly things. Yeah. I think that's all I have for ghosty stuff right now. I'm sure as, you know, I continue to traverse this life and have more experiences as, you know, time goes on, I'll probably be able to add on to that list. But as of right now, that's all I've really got. Outside of, like, again, occasionally I'll see one of the cats, I'll hear one of the dogs, and, yeah, that's pretty much all that I've... Oh, okay, I've got one more. Now, this one, I forget what it's called. I want to say it's astral projection, but I'm not sure if that's quite it. So, when I am going to do something, you can kind of tell that I give off a very busy vibe and a don't stop me now because I will run you over kind of vibe, because I am set and I'm gonna go and get the thing done. That's just how I am. When I have that level of focus going. I had left the house to go do whatever the thing was, and my parents swear upside and down the other that they saw me come inside the house. And then I actually physically come into the house like 15 minutes later, and they were like, how did you do that? And I was like, how did I do what? She goes, you already came in the house. Did you go through the backyard? And I go, I just got home. And they're like, no, we saw you come in the house and then you went through the glass door. And I was like, no, I really didn't. I just got home. What are you on? And they were like, whoa. They're like, okay, you need to settle down then, because, like, we saw you and you already came in and were doing stuff. So, yeah, I think that coincides with astral projection or something. I'm not really sure. Again, I think it was just a case of, like, my energy levels were very high, and I was in that gotta get it done mood, and I guess it translated into a physical-esque kind of form. Very strange. Okay, so, now, I think that's all I've got. I'm gonna rack my brain for a second, just to be on the safe side. Yeah, no, I think that's all I got, ghost stories-wise, or stuff similar to it. Doppelganger? Oh, maybe. Though, I've looked into, like, some of, like, the mythos behind doppelgangers, and apparently it said that there's a total of 3. And, all three cannot exist. So if you come across your doppelganger, one of you will die and then will be absorbed into the other person. Essentially, from what it is that I understand, is that doppelgangers are technically jigsaw pieces. And eventually they should all form into one person. So it's kind of like, think like a soul that's been split into 3 pieces that eventually all go into one. At least that's what I've read, and that's what I've come to understand. Do your own research, this way you'll have your own understanding for things. But yeah. So, there you go. I hope y'all enjoyed my ghost stories. I will fix the title. I didn't realize I typed stores. I swear I typed stories. But I'll fix it. Thank you so much for watching. I have a very special video announcement for y'all tomorrow. And it should be at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time like usual. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Hit that like button. Turn on notifications. This way you'll know when that video drops. Because it's important. And you don't want to miss out. So, y'all enjoy the rest of your day. I will see y'all tomorrow with a video. Let's hear them. Ghost Stories is spelled with an I. Battle cries. Woo! Yeah! I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!